I'm putting this video together for those of you who needed a little extra help with dividing fractions using models. So let's start with a whole number by a fraction, and then I'll go into the area model for fractions by fractions. So let's start with 4 divided by 3/4. Okay, so if I give you something like 4 divided by 3/4. So basically what I'm trying to find is how many groups of 3/4 are in 4. Please remember, we don't always have to get a whole number as our quotient, okay? We can sometimes get a remainder when we are doing fraction models. Is perfectly all right, okay? So I'm going to show you again the 3 different ways. The number line method, I'm going to show you the circle method, and I am going to show you the rectangular method, and you can choose which one works best for you. Okay, so in the number line method, we are first going to make a number line. Okay, so whenever we make a number line, or whenever we look at how many parts we should take, the first thing we need to look at is this. Okay, so that tells me how many wholes I need to take. So my total number over here is 4. So that's how many wholes I'm going to take. Okay, so on the number line, I'm going to take 4 whole parts. Okay, so here's 0. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is 4 whole, because this is what determines how many parts there should be on the number line. Next thing I'm going to look at is this, which is my denominator. So I look at this first, I look at this next, which is my denominator. So looking at the denominator, that helps me determine how many parts there need to be in each section of the number line. So because my denominator is 4, I am going to put 4 parts in each section of the number line. If my denominator was 6, I would have 6 sections in each part of the number line. If it was 8, I would have 8 sections in each part of the number line. So the denominator determines how many parts I need to have in each section of the number line. So here we go. Since this is 4 parts, we are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4 is 1 whole. That's what this means, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of these are 1/4. Now, next what we are going to do is we are going to make groups of 3/4. We're going to make groups of 3/4. So I'm going to use different colors so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start at the 0 here. Here's my first group. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So here is my first group. All right. And so then I'm going to make another group of 3/4. 1, 2, 3. So this is 3/4. And then 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So these are all 3/4. 3 out of 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then I have this little bitty, itty bitty part left, which is a 1/4. Okay? So therefore, now after that, I am going to count how many groups of 3/4 do I have in there. So here's my first group in the green. This is my first group. Here's my second group. my third group, my fourth group, my fifth group, and I have this little, because each group is 3 parts, so that would be my 1/3 group, because 1 out of the 3. Okay, so my answer over here, 4 divided by 3/4 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since each group is comprised of 3 out of 4, so each group is comprised of 3 parts, and then I only have 1 out of the 3 that is comprising the group. So therefore 5 1/3 is my final answer. So this is how the model is shown. So this is one way where we are using the number line method. Okay. Another way I can show you now. So remember the third part for this was so the first part was looking at the whole number part. That's how many parts we have. The second part was looking at your denominator, and then this was the third part, that the counting of this 3, 3, 3, 3. All right, so that's what we do. All right, so let's go ahead now, and we are going to do the same thing with the circle method. The circle method, the circle model, that's what we are trying to make. All right, so once again, since I have 4 divided by 3/4, I first look at the whole number, and this is going to tell me how many circles I need to make. So because it's saying 4, I am going to make 4 circles. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. And then I look at, as I said earlier, the denominator. The denominator tells me that there are 4 parts. So I am going to break the circle into 4 different parts. So 4 parts for each circle. All right. And then I'm going to look at the numerator. So 3 out of the 4 are forming a group. Okay. So I'm going to start coloring in 3. 1, 2, 3, make 1 group. 1, 2, 3, form another group. 1, 2, 3, form a third group. 1, 2, 3, form a fourth group. Then I have 1, 2, 3. This is forming a fifth group. And then I have a remainder, which is this much. So when I count this as to what my fraction model is, I'm going to look at, this is 1 color, 1 group of 3. Here's another 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 group of 3, because 3 out of 4. And then I have this little group over here. This is the 1/3 part, because each group is comprised of 3, right? So 5, and this little tiny thing is my 1 out of the 3 that is formed. So I have 5 1/3. So 4 divided by 3/4 is equal to 5 1/3. So it's the same, whichever method you use, you'll still get exactly the same answer. All right? And then you can also do the rectangle method, the rectangle model. And it's very much like the circle. So the rectangle model looks a lot like the circle. So we have, once again, you look at this. So you have 4 rectangles, 1, 2, 3, and we have 4 rectangles. And then we look at the denominator. So we are going to break it apart into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we are going to look at the numerator. We are going to color in 3 out of the 4. This is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, one color. And then 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, another color. And then 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, another color. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, another color. And I'm just showing you different colors so you can see my groups over here. So look, and this is what I have, and then this is the remainder that is left over. So I have 1, 2, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, and the 1/3. Okay, so 4 divided by 3/4 gives me 5 groups of 3/4 and 1/3. So this is basically what it means. Me dividing a whole number by a fractional part. You can use any of these methods. Again, it's a personal choice, which one you prefer. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you a fraction by a fraction. This was a whole number by a fractional part. Okay, and there's several different methods that you can use in order to solve this. All right. So let's go ahead and do a whole number, a fraction by a fraction now. Okay. So, all right. So, let me give you a 4/5 divided by 1/4. Let me write here. 4/5 divided by 1/4. And I'm going to use the area model method. Okay? I'm going to use the area model method. And this works really great if you have graph paper because you can actually see the columns and the rows and you know how many little squares you're taking. It becomes really easy to count and things like that, okay? So we are going to take 4/5, that means 4 out of 5, all right? So we're going to draw 2 different rectangles and they're going to be exactly the same thing. So we're going to make this. All right, so we have 4 out of 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 out of, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the denominator. So we're always looking at that, okay? And let me do the same thing because I'm trying to represent it over here also, okay? And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then I'm going to just write 4/5 over here so I know what I'm talking about. All right. And then we are going to talk about my divided by 1/4. So I'm going to put 1/4 here. 1/4 over here because I'm trying to see what I'm doing. All right. So let's first color in 4/5. Okay. So 4 out of 5 means this is 1 out of 5, this is 2/5, 3/5, and this is 4/5. Okay? And now let me look this side and I am going to go ahead and do horizontally 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4 on 4. So I'm going to do the same thing here now. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. I'm just trying to show you the coloring. So I have colored in 4 out of 5 over here, and in here I am going to color in 1 out of 4. So look, if I look at this is 1 out of 4. Okay, this is 1 out of 4. So 1/4 over here is comprised of, let's see how many squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 squares is comprising of 1/4. Okay, so we are looking at how many groups of 1/4 are in 4/5. And 1/4 is comprised of how many little squares? It's comprised of 5 squares. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 squares over here, 5 little squares is equal to 1/4. Okay, is equal to 1/4. So let's see how many of these are going to fit in over here. Okay, so how many groups over here? So let me take this same color so you can see what I'm talking about. Remember, 5 of these squares is equal to 1/4. And we're seeing how many 1/4s fit into the 4/5. So let's start here. Okay, so we have this one group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here is my one group of my 1/4. Okay, let me use a different color. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here is my second group of 1/4. And then let me use another color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have, here is my third group of 1/4. And then I have one remainder which is left over. So out of the 5, I have one part left over. Okay, so here's one group, one whole, another group of a whole. So this is 3. So I have 3 groups of 1/4, and I have this tiny little part which is 1/5. 1 out of the 5, because remember that 5 little squares is equal to 1/4, and we are trying to see how many of those 1/4s are fitting in 4/5. How many groups of those are in 4/5? Okay, so therefore, as you can see, this is what we did, and we had a little teeny tiny remainder. And since 5 of these squares are representing 1/4, and this tiny thing is 1 out of the 5, so this is 3 and 1/5. So if I do 4/5 divided by 1/4, I get 3 and 1/5 as my quotient. Okay, so this is the area model method. So let's try this with another problem. I'm going to do that over here. Okay, so let's do that with 3/4 divided by 1/2. Okay, so again, we'll try the same thing. It's like how many, how many 1/2s are in 3/4. That's what basically we are trying to find. So we are going to take, again, the area model method. 1, 2, 3, 4, because this is 3/4. And then we're going to take the 1/2 this side, because 1 and 2. Okay, so for the denominator, that's what you're looking at. Okay, and then divided by, looking at exactly the same thing, what we're doing there, we're going to do here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 3/4, and then we have 1/2 here. And so in this case, we are going to fill in the 3 out of 4. So this is 1, 2, so 3. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So 3 out of 4 are filled in over here. Okay, and then we are going to take this one, and we are going to fill in your 1/2. So look this way. All right. this is the half. So this is my half. Okay? So now I'm going to look at this, that how many squares are in that half. That's what I'm looking at. Okay? So how many parts are making up that half? All right? So as I can see, how many parts are making up that half? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them are making up a half. All right? So let's go back to the original one. And we are going to make groups of 1/2. And we said that 4 little parts are making up one group of half. Okay? So we have 1, here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is one group of half. All right? And then out of the 4, here's the second one, which is 2. So we have 1 whole and we have 2 out of 4. Okay? And so, which is 2/4 is what in simplest form? We can simplify by 2. All right? And we get 1 and 1/2. So therefore, 3/4 divided by 1/2 gives me 1 whole and 1/2 as my answer. So that is the area model method. Okay? There's also a bar method that you can use. And I am just going to demonstrate this same thing, which you can use on that. And it works with those problems where it is easy to split up a bar into fraction bars. So let's try the same one. Okay, so if I tell you that this is, I'm doing the same thing, which is 3/4 divided by 1/2. Okay, so if I give you this whole bar, the whole bar represents 1 whole, right? This is 1 whole. And then if I say 3/4, we know that this is half, this is 1/4, and so this is going to be how much? This is going to be your 3/4, 3 out of 4. All right, because each is a quarter. And then I'm going to put another bar under it. And then I'm going to do the same thing, and this is my halfway. All right, this is my half. And then it's asking that how many halves or how many groups of half are going to fit in 3/4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, all right, here is 3/4. So if I do this, how many groups of half can I fit in there? So look, here is 1 whole group of half. Okay, and then this whole thing is a half, but this is half of a half, right? So this is going to be 1 whole half and a half. Okay, so we have 1 1/2, which is the same thing like this. All right, so in 3/4, if I have 3/4 divided by 1/2, I am going to get 1 and 1/2. So I'm going to do 1 entire half and then another half of a half, another group of a half. So that's what this means. All right, but that's basically what fraction models are. The whole number by a fractional part. There are 3 different methods: the number line method, the circle model method, and you have the rectangular method. And this you have in the fraction by fraction, you have the area model method. You can also do where you are dividing a fraction by a whole number. And we have discussed that in the classroom. I think I showed it to you in the earlier one. But let's show that to you really quick while we are at it. If I say, 1/4 divided by 5, So now look, I'm dividing a fractional part by a whole number. So in this case, all I'm doing, guys, okay, the denominator tells me how many parts to take. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I am going to color in 1 out of 4. Okay, now that is being divided into 5 parts. Okay, so I'm just going to take this. So I'm just dividing this by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now look how tiny each part became. Okay, so this actually became 1. This tiny section is going to become the answer. So 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it became 1/20th. So this tiny portion becomes your answer. So basically when you're dividing a fraction by a whole number, your quotient is going to get even smaller. So just want to show that to you really quick so that you could see a fraction model of that. All right, guys, have a nice day.